What's up, y'all? So today I'm going to be explaining my ranking system that I use in all of my videos, just so you can get a better sense of what exactly to look for when you're watching my videos, and beyond that, just to get a better sense of what exactly I'm trying to showcase. In all my movie and show reviews, I'll be using two main ranking systems, and I'm going to be using the same two ranking systems through all my movies and shows. For the sake of consistency, I think having this specified rank system is really going to make it easier on you as the viewer to get a sense of what movies to watch, what shows to watch, maybe what ones to skip, what ones to not invest in, and so on and so forth. In the end, if you have any feedback whatsoever about what I discuss, or if you have any feedback on how I can make these reviews more effective for you on your end, let me know and I'd be happy to factor that in. So of the two ranking systems, one is primarily going to be used for the ranking of the show or movie itself. So what this means is I'll be taking into account the acting, the plot, the directing, how everything goes down. Is it predictable? Is it really unique and fresh or special? I've grown up watching shows. They low-key raised me to who I am today. My parents are immigrants, so they weren't fully accustomed to the American customs and the way of life here, and so movies really helped me to learn more about what it means to be human, what it means to have passions and desires, and what it means to essentially be functional and be awesome. So I owe everything to film and to movies and shows. They kept me sane during dark times. They were always there even when I felt alone. And so that's why I aim to help all of you, all of my viewers, get a better sense of what films are perfect for you, so that you maybe start to like movies, start to like films more, fall in love with the industry, because it truly is one of the most spectacular industries and creations from our human race. Film and entertainment is awesome. So my first rank system, which again, like I mentioned, is going to be an assessment of the overall film or show in terms of content, in terms of plot, in terms of directing, acting, uniqueness, just overall as a film, as a work of art. I'll be giving every film and show a ranking out of 4. And I chose this for a multitude of reasons. So one of the first reasons was, a lot of people ask me, why didn't I go with the Rotten Tomatoes kind of vibe and do like a percentage out of 100? And my main reasoning for that is, when I was growing up, and even now I would even say, when I go on Rotten Tomatoes and I saw a ranking like 75%, I really had no idea what to think about it. Because, you know, in school, a 75% is a C, which is not that spectacular. But then I watched movies with 75% ratings and I'm like, these are not that bad. These are worth watching. With the 100% system, it's very easy to tell what the best movies are. You know, if they achieve above 90%, it's like a must-watch almost. But even with that system, it's like specific movies apply to specific people, and it just creates a lot of confusion. And I want to reduce as much confusion as possible. My goal with these videos is to make it so if there's a movie out there that you're confused about, like, oh, I don't know if I should invest time watching it, or a TV show, and you're like, oh, I don't know if it's worth starting, you can check out my video, and within 10 minutes you'll be able to tell if one, the show is for you, if it's something that you yourself are going to be interested in, and two, you're going to know if it's worth investing in, if it's worth watching, or if you should pick something else. You'll also get a great sense about the perfect settings for the films and other things like that, including lessons from the film. That's why I kind of pushed away from the percent ranking. Others suggested, oh, why don't you make it out of 10? Or out of 5. So I chose 4 specifically because each of the 4 sections, each of the 4 ranks has their own very specific category, and I'll explain all those in this video, and that's the goal of this video, is to show you exactly what those categories mean, so that when you watch the videos you can immediately tell if it's a film you're interested in or not, if it's a film you're gonna invest in or not. I chose not to do it the 10 ranking just because, again, it's that same theme of just so much info, you know, like if I give you a ranking of like 6.7, how in the world are you gonna know what that actually means? Does that mean it's worth watching for you specifically as a viewer? Or does it mean it's worth skipping? 6.7 is not that great of a score, but also it's like, you know, sometimes you're just down to watch a movie that's kind of garbage and you just want to relax and not think about it. And trying to factor all that into my ranking system, I came up with the 4 levels. So going from top to bottom, the first level is 4 out of 4. So if a film achieves a ranking of 4 out of 4, that means that it's one of the best of the best. And what I mean by that is its directing, acting is stunning. Really well done. The movie also has a really great message and or lesson and or has a purpose, right? If the movie proves something or in some way showcases an idea or something unique, that's the reasoning why it could earn a rank 4 out of 4. Also films that are revolutionary, that break boundaries, films that really push the envelope of what entertainment is, could earn a 4 out of 4. Essentially, these are films that if you haven't checked them out, it's almost a must watch. It's like these are films that are gonna be a part of our culture, films that are gonna be talked about years to come, and films that are gonna resonate with the majority of the population. And so if a film or show is categorized as a 4 out of 4, that means most likely you should spend the time to watch it, most likely you should check it out, and you'll most likely enjoy it. So if a movie achieves a rank of 3 out of 4, what that essentially means is this is a fantastic film, not the best of the best, but it's a great film that's worth watching and paying attention to. This is where a lot of films are just naturally going to end up, because if a director spends a lot of time, quality time on the film and really tries to get something done, right? These are the films that I think a lot of people are going to like. A majority of people are probably going to resonate with, they're probably going to like. They're also films you should highly consider watching. If I classify a film as a 3 out of 4, you're most likely not going to want to skip it. Like, it's a pretty solid film, and if you have free time, it's worth checking out. A 4 out of 4 is you need to check out, right? A 3 out of 4 is if you have time, worth checking out. Now, a 2 out of 4, which is the next ranking down, a 2 out of 4 showcases a film that maybe just missed the mark. It didn't do what it set out to do, maybe. I classify these films as films you can watch in the background, or films that are kind of a waste of time. Films that, honestly, you could skip if you don't have the time, if you're really busy. These are films that, honestly, you could skip. Or if you're working on a project and you just want something running in the background, something easy to watch, something you can just have on and follow lightly and still kind of get a sense of what the film is showing, kind of get a sense of the film altogether and enjoy it a little bit in the background. These are those types of films. So again, like I said, these aren't films that are necessary to watch. These aren't films I would recommend going to theaters to watch. These are really films that are a good waste of time, but don't expect too much out of them. And then a ranking of 1 out of 4 are like, these are films that are truly the worst of the worst. Like, these are films that shouldn't exist. Now, I don't say this lightly because, again, I'm a huge fan of the entertainment and film industry, and I truly understand the enormous amount of work and budget and commitment that goes into making a film, right? So to rank a film as a 1 out of 4 as not even worth watching, not even worth checking out, I do not do lightly. I don't believe that films are necessarily garbage. I think there are some films that obviously are money grabs. There's some films that obviously maybe the director changed halfway, maybe something went wrong, obviously something was off, so it kind of ruined the entire movie. I don't want to assign the rank of 1 out of 4 liberally just because these are reserved for films you really shouldn't even think about watching. These are films that you might get stupider if you watch. These are films that you might hate the last 2 hours of your life if you watch. These are films that really are the worst of the worst. And so I won't use this liberally. I won't be overusing 1 out of 4s because, again, like I said, I am a big fan of a lot of films. And I think even the worst films have a perfect setting, you know? I love watching horrible films with friends and just laughing about them. And so that's why I have the ranking of 2 out of 4, because I'll specify in the review, obviously, but a 2 out of 4 is a film that you could put on in the background and laugh at and just watch. But a 1 out of 4 is really the worst of the worst. Like, I wouldn't even recommend putting it on the background and watching. You're going to be worse off if you watch it, if you know what I'm saying. Those are the 4 different ranks that I can assign to a movie or show. So out of those, you'll know immediately whether to watch it or not. If I rank it a 4 or 3, most likely worth investing, most likely worth checking out, especially if it's a 4. If I rank it a 2, it's something you could throw on a night where you're bored, a night where you have nothing to do, a night where you're working on a project. And if it's a 1 out of 4, I'd recommend skipping altogether. And that's just how my ranking system is going to go. Again, if you have any feedback, let me know in the comments below, and I'd love to take it into account. but that's the general ranking system I'll be using for all my show and movie reviews. Now, my other ranking system is my parental guide ranking system. So this is a system that I've designed specifically for the sections of my videos that are my parents' guides. And I created parents' guides mainly because growing up, I had a really hard time telling if a specific film was something I could watch with my parents, something that I could watch with my younger siblings, something I could watch, with friends, or if it's something that's too awkward. And what I mean by that is there's content in films that just won't fly watching with other people. It's just so awkward and weird that you're not gonna want to watch it, especially right if they're kids. When children are exposed to specific types of content at an early age, it can have drastic effects on their development and on who they become later on in their life, right? So I designed this parents guide to really give everybody, but specifically parents, a good sense of what content is going to be in their film or show, so that they can make a decision for themselves if it's something they want to show their kids, if it's something that they want to watch themselves, if it's something they want to watch with friends, and so on and so forth. I truly think this parents guide is effective to anybody, but again, I think it most effective for parents specifically. In my parents guide, instead of ranking at 4, I'm going to be actually using a 5-degree ranking. And my parents guide is also going to be split up into 3 main sections. There's going to be action, there's going to be sexual content, and there's going to be language. Those are my 3 main sections. If you watched any of my videos before, you probably already have a good sense of what exactly I'm talking about because I have parents guides in all my current videos already. But if you haven't watched them, essentially what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going through the film and ranking in terms of violence out of 5, how much of it is there in this film. So if there was a ton of gore, a ton of violence, if it's like very visceral, very graphic, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5, right? So that gives you a good sense of if you know somebody, if you're going to plan to watch it with somebody who maybe is younger, or maybe somebody who's very against violence or against gory situations, this might not be a film for them. A ranking of 4 out of 5 in violence would mean there's still that gore, there's still that graphic, it's very bloody. Maybe it's not that extra level where it would deserve the ranking of 5, but it's still there. Again, if you're not prone to violence, if you don't like violence, if you really shy away from violence, I would not recommend a film that's ranked 4 out of 5, because again, that's a lot of gratuitous violence. A movie with the rank of 3 out of 5 is a little bit more light. There is still violence, there's still most likely gun violence, maybe some action, stuff like that, but it's not graphic, it's not gory. These are mostly the movies where scenes lead up to a specific violent act or something violent, but then cuts right before it happens and you see aftermath. Maybe films like that are going to be ranked at 3. A ranking of 2 or 1 essentially means the film really doesn't have very much violence. A ranking of 2 is most likely yelling, maybe arguments, stressful situations. Ranking of 1 means there's really nothing, it's very peaceful altogether, And if a film or show ever receives a ranking of 0, that means there's no violence, it's a very peaceful show, it's maybe focused on promoting peace. So films like that would earn a ranking of 0 out of 5. So moving on to sexual content, which is the second section. And sexual content is something that, again, differs from person to person, right? A lot of people, by the time you're 23, you are totally comfortable watching any sort of, or a lot of sexual situations, right? So that's fine. But younger audiences, maybe they're not accustomed to it, or maybe they're not prone to it, or maybe, as an older person, you just don't want that type of content. That's a decision for you to make. But in my rank system, I'll be providing a little breakdown so that you can make that decision for yourself. I'll give you the info as to what is in this film so that you can make a decision for yourself. So a ranking of 5 out of 5 would mean very graphic content. 50 Shades of Grey content, I'm talking most likely nudity, full-on sex scenes, stuff like that would really get a film a 5 out of 5. Also very strong, pervasive, crude humor that's constant would earn a film a 5 out of 5. 4 out of 5, again, a step down, maybe a little bit less sexual content, maybe partial nudity would give it a 4 out of 5. There's also, if it has crude sexual content, but it's not that often in the film, or maybe it's a little bit lighter, it'll get a 4 out of 5. A 3 out of 5 is like if there's just a lot of films I think would fall under a 3 out of 5, because if there's like one sex scene, just a couple, normal, very PC, no nudity, anything like that, I would rank it a 3 out of 5. And then a film that achieves a rank of 2 or 1 means there's really no sexual content. Maybe a 2 is like there's some makeout scenes, maybe there's a little bit of sexual jokes, and then a 1 would be almost nothing, maybe like a kiss or so. Through that ranking system, you can make a decision for yourself of what type of content is okay with me, what type of content do I want to watch. And finally, the last section is going to be language. So out of 5, again, if I rank a movie a 5 out of 5 for language, that means there's strong, gratuitous language. If you've watched the movie Uncut Gems, that's definitely a 5 out of 5. So expect that type of language where it's constant swearing, F words, S words, you know, it's very in your face. So if you don't like language, it's definitely not a film you're going to want to watch. Again, a 4 is maybe there's a lot of swear words, a lot of F words, just not as many as a 5 out of 5. If a film has over maybe 60 or 70 F words, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5, just because, you know, I would consider that a good amount. But anything lower, maybe it would fall under a 4 out of 5. If it's a PG-13 film that has 1 F word maybe and a ton of S words, I would give the film a ranking of 3 out of 5. And then anything below that is very limited language. So 2 out of 5 is if there's no F word, just a bunch of S words, maybe other language. And then a 1 out of 5 is really there's almost nothing, a couple maybe jokes, a couple maybe slight swears, but nothing too graphic, nothing too bad. So in this section, although it doesn't really make sense, I'll also be including a little bit about like if there's any strong drug content in the film, just because I know a lot of families shy away from showcasing some of that strong drug content to younger children and younger kids. So if there is that type of content, I'll make sure to mention it in this section essentially. But altogether, those are my 2 main rank systems and that I'll be using for all of my movie and show reviews. If you get used to those 2 rank systems, one which is the general rank system that has 4 ranks, and then the parents guide rank system that has 5 ranks, I'm going to be keeping it consistent across all my content so that once you get used to it a little bit, you'll know what to expect moving forward. And I'll let you know if there's any outliers, any things that maybe push something over the edge. So it's like a 4.5 where it's really graphic, but maybe there's something that tones it down a bit. So stuff like that. I'll explain all of that in detail in all my videos so as to not cause any confusion. So yeah, like I mentioned in this video a couple times, if you have any feedback, if you have any reasoning as to what I could change, what I could improve on, or if you just love this rank system and you support my decision to go with these 2 rank systems, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. But anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe like always, and I'll catch you all next time. Stay safe out there.